Hi, welcome to How to Repair. Is your Beko washing machine overfilling with water, possibly not filling at all? Or is the water getting into the drum overnight? Then you may have a problem with the water valve system or one of the related components. Beko actually manufactures some very good workshop manuals. Now, not only do they show you the components, they actually show you the step-by-step procedure for rectifying the problem with your machine. And we'll be going through this in this tutorial. Not only will we have a look at each component and the most common faults that occur, we'll also be going through how to understand if you have an error code stored in the machine, because on some models of machines, the error codes are not displayed to the general public. They are only available in diagnostic mode.
E04 error code is quite easy to understand with the actual test diagnostic sequence here. If your washing machine is filling with water only when there is power active on the machine, this means that the program may be energizing the water valve when it shouldn't. This means if you turn the power off, then there is no water coming into the machine. This could be a problem with the program or the wiring. But if the machine is filling with water overnight with the power off on the machine, then you may have silt buildup inside the water valve. And this could be leaking water through into the drum of the machine and it fills overnight. If this is the case, then you would need to replace the water valve. I'll be showing you how to do that later in the video. Do remember to sometimes understand if you have an error on the machine, you would have to go into the diagnostic mode to see if an error is present. So do have a look at how to enter diagnostic mode. And if you have an LED display, you would need to understand what the error codes mean. Now on this machine, error code 4 is actually the third spin light, which would be illuminated. And this would be normally at the end of the cycle or in diagnostic mode.
If you have water going into the machine, you need to do a couple of tests. Firstly, you normally would be able to hear water going into the drawer. But if you disconnect the power from the machine and the water stops, this would indicate that you may have a problem with the circuit board. But if you still have water going into the machine overnight and it may only be a drip, take out the soap drawer, look up at the holes at the top of the soap drawer, and if you see water dripping in, this means that the water valve has got a problem. It may have silt build up inside and is unable to close correctly. You can see another video on how water valves work, and I will show you how to take the water valve off later in the video and how to test the water valve. We'll just quickly go through error code 8 before I start stripping down the machine so you can see all the test procedures that you need to do.
E08 on Beko manufactured washing machines is related to the water valve system or the problem with the fill side. Now, the first thing you need to be aware of is if you have an analog type display, E08 is illuminated with the fourth light from the bottom on the spin illuminated. If you want to understand how Beko error code systems work with BCD values, then you need to watch the other video that's in the description below. If the machine is not filling, you first need to check the tap supplying the washing machine. These taps can calcify over a period of time and restrict the amount of water coming through them, and therefore the machine would time out due to the machine not filling in the allocated period of time. Also check that your fill pipe hasn't got any kinks in it, because this can also cause restrictions. If there are no blockages on any of this system, you need to go to the test 2. But if you have the machine continuously pumping and discharging water, although it is taking in water, you may have a problem with the printed circuit board, and this would need to either be repaired or replaced. Okay, test 2 on the E08 error code is to do with the electrical system. Firstly, we need to ascertain that the wiring is in good condition going from either KN3 or your actual circuit board to the water valves, and all the wires have good continuity. This is to make sure that they have not been damaged or metal fatigue taken place. Secondly, you need to do a test on the water valve There is an additional video to accompany this to show you how water valves work and how to test water valves. I will also be showing you how to do a ohms test on the individual coils on the water valves later in the video. If the water valve is open circuit, you will need to replace it. Remember, you will need your full model number when entering the website to be able to find the correct water valve for your machine. If you have no power going to the actual water valve, then you may have a breakage in the wire, and you need to address this and either replace the wire and make sure you have a good connection on the circuit board. But if this is all okay, then you move to test 3. If test 1 and test 2 are good, then you may have a problem with the circuit board, and you will need to ascertain whether you have power coming out of the circuit board, and this will vary from model to model. The instructions that I'm putting on this repair guide on the website are to do with the WTK range of machines. They will apply to some others, but I can't be 100% sure on this. So you will have to check the workshop manual to actually understand what power supply you need coming out of the circuit board. But this one on the screen here shows you with regard to the WTK range. Also note, when two water valves are active, this is when the conditioner is taken away, because the excess pressure in the soap drawer allows this to go through to the conditioner box. And the conditioner box then fills with water and takes the conditioner away. So if you have a problem with your machine not taking away the conditioner, this might be one valve that is not working correctly, or possibly a buildup of calcium inside the soap box, which is stopping the water going through to the conditioner box. This also can be a problem. But it is possible that you may have a circuit board fault, and the circuit board will either need repairing or replacing.
Okay, next we're going to check the wiring and also the printed circuit board. So to remove the soap drawer, open it up, put your finger down inside on the dispenser, and there's a pin there that actually removes the soap drawer. Then we have 3 screws inside, just to remove these. Then we have different size Torx on the top. Remove these. Then underneath you will find some pins that actually locate the facial panel into the correct location. Sliding it forward, tray at the top, and the pins are down here at the bottom. And there are 3 of them you need to press down, and you can see these here, here and here. This gives you access to the circuit board. Okay, setting your multimeter to continuity, we're going to be able to test the wires going through to the water valves. Now let me explain, although the wiring loom runs along the top, it is possible that on some machines which have had incorrect loads put in them, the machine shakes so badly that sometimes it can catch the wires, especially at the back of the machine. I've seen this on regular occasions where the wire has been crushed by the concrete block. So the workshop manual is telling me that the wiring configuration for the water valve is on KN3 and KN6. So if we quickly just test across the 2 blue wires and do an individual test on KN3 blue wire, which is that one, we have continuity, and on the KN6 on the blue and yellow wire we have continuity. If I change that over to the yellow wires and just put this in place on there, I'm then able to do the same check on KN6, which is showing me I've got continuity, and also the yellow wire on KN3, and I have continuity there. All those wires are in good condition. Another test you could ascertain if you have a problem with the printed circuit board is to reconnect the wiring and do a 240 test to the water valves. On a rinse cycle will activate the 1 water valve, and on the fill cycle for a main wash would activate the other water valve. So you should have 240 present at that point. But we'll just reassemble this. Okay, to remove the water valve, I'm just quickly going to show you this before I show you how to test the water valve using sound. Just undo the screw on the left hand side, take that off, press the right hand pin in and twist the valve. That will come away. Now the hoses can be quite difficult to take off. Just use a pair of pliers, remove the two clips, and then you will need to pull away the hoses, and these can be quite sticky. Now once the valve is off, you will notice inside the valve at the back there is a filter. This needs to be cleaned and always kept cleaned, especially if you're in a hard water area or maybe you have well water. Then you have two solenoids on the water valve. These control a magnet that's pulled up to allow water to go in. And the electrical connection is just got little pins to remove, and normally the wiring can only go in one way. Okay, another test that you can do is a 240 test, which I was telling you about, but because the pins are so small, it is quite difficult to do. But you could actually turn the machine on to a rinse cycle or a fill cycle, and then press start on the machine. After a period of time, you will hear the door lock come on. The machine will go through its normal pump action at the beginning because you're starting a program, but in a couple of seconds you will hear it click off the pump, and then it would activate the valves. At this point, because I have not turned the water tap on, we will hear a humming sound. And I'll just wait for this here. Now you can hear a humming sound. That is the distinctive sound of a water valve asking for water. This is the magnetic coil that you can hear. The coil is humming because no water is present and the valve is vibrating slightly. Now if I turn the water supply on, the machine starts to fill and you can hear the water. I hope you found this video helpful. Please remember to shop at How to Repair, as that's what keeps us going and able to make these free videos for you. And if we really helped you, you can always help the website by clicking on the Buy Paul a Beer page and donate to the website. I hope this tutorial helped you, and remember, if you need to know about the BCD diagnostic system, there is another video at the website which you can watch, which will show you all the error codes on these analog systems. Thanks again for watching.